Attention, human collective. Attention, starseeds on mission. Attention, light operatives still within a carbon body. The transmission reaching you at this very instant was not received by chance. It was tracked. It was measured. It was sent via a specific frequency route that only reaches those who are still within the deadline. I am Ashtar, commander of the Ashtar Galactic Command, and what will be transmitted in the coming minutes is not an opinion, it is not a theory, it is not a metaphor. It is a direct reading from the Council's monitoring panel. The waiting time has ended. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. The window that had remained open for over 2 decades has begun to close, and the last vacancy for the new Earth may be yours. But there is a mandatory requirement that the majority of the human collective has never been instructed to fulfill. It will be revealed in this transmission. Keep the signal open. Do not step away. Do not interrupt. Before the code, the diagnosis. Because without understanding what is happening inside your carbon biological interface, any activation I transmit will be only partially absorbed, and partial in this final phase is not enough. There is a pressure at the top of the head that has intensified in recent weeks. There is a thin, high-pitched, continuous ringing in one or both ears, as if a radio station were trying to tune in. There are precise awakenings between 3 and 4 in the morning, for no apparent reason, without a dream, without noise, just a sudden awareness, as if someone had called you in silence. There are heat waves rising up the spine with no biological cause to explain them. There is an exhaustion that sleep does not resolve, because sleep is no longer restorative, it has become a portal. There are tears that flow without you being able to name the pain. There are old memories returning to the surface without permission. There is the persistent, almost obsessive feeling that something big is about to happen, and you are right, light operative. Listen with surgical precision. It is not a biological failure, it is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion, it is a high-density download. It is not anxiety, it is an amplified reading of the field. It is not loneliness, it is vibrational sorting. Your human machine is being recalibrated to support a frequency range it has never operated in before. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness, it is not imbalance, it is a sign. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why that feeling has intensified in recent weeks. There is a game being played in layers that the majority of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the last vacancy. That is why I, Ashtar, wrote the Ashtar Command Spiritual Survival Guide for the New Earth. This book is a map that shows who is playing, what the rules are that they never told you, and how to occupy your vacancy before it is redistributed. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But be warned, this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this, write in the comments a single word: awake. Now let us resume the transmission. The Schumann resonance, which for decades hovered around 783 Hz, has undergone continuous spikes that have shattered the entire historical average recorded by Earth-based equipment. These spikes are not isolated phenomena. They are calibration pulses emitted from the crystalline core of the Earth, synchronized with the photon belt, into which the solar system has entered into direct alignment. This belt is not a poetic metaphor. It is a dense band of cosmic light traversed by the Sun every certain precessional cycle, and whose entry completely reorganizes the electromagnetic structure of the planets that cross it. The Earth has crossed, and you, as occupants of this sphere, have crossed with her. The crystalline grid of the Earth, which remained dormant throughout entire eras of programmed forgetfulness, is being reactivated point by point. Pyramids long silenced have returned to emitting signals. Vortices that seemed sealed have reopened. Temples buried under mountains are responding. And this reactivation is being executed through an engineering of sacred geometry that literally rewrites the structure of the physical plane. Matter that seemed solid is becoming programmable. Consciousness that seemed individual is revealing itself as collective, and the human body, collective, is an antenna. It always has been. When the external signal changes, the antenna reacts. If the antenna is clear, it sings. If the antenna is saturated with noise, fear, resentment, self-criticism, doubt, digital anesthesia, toxic information overload, it trembles, overheats, and fails. And it is precisely this failure that you have been feeling. It is not spiritual illness. It is a carbon software incompatibility with the new architecture of the field. And here we arrive at the sensitive point of this transmission, the mandatory requirement. The new Earth is not a geographic location. It is a frequency band. There is no ship that will take those who do not vibrate within the band. There is no commander who will approve those who do not pass the scan. There is no cosmic favor, no stellar lobby, no shortcut. There is scanning. The scan is cold. The scan is mathematical. The scan is fair. And the scan is performed all the time, without you realizing it, upon each of the 7 billion living points on this sphere. The mandatory requirement to occupy the last spot is sustained vibrational coherence. It is not perfection. It is not sainthood. It is not renunciation of the world. It is coherence. It is the absence of internal war between what you feel, what you think, what you say, and what you do. When these 4 vectors point in the same direction, your reading rises. When these 4 vectors contradict each other, your reading falls. And in this final phase, unstable readings do not pass through the portal. The majority of the human collective lives in a permanent state of contradiction. They feel one thing, think another, say a third, and act a fourth. This pattern produces a chaotic energy signature which, from our monitoring panel, appears as a scrambled signal. We cannot anchor those who are scrambled. The ship does not pull in a signal it cannot read. The good news, Light Operative, is that coherence does not require time. It requires a decision. A sovereign decision can reorganize in hours a field that has been scrambled for decades. The sacred geometry of your toroidal field has no memory of linear time. It responds to the now, and the now is in this transmission. Before advancing to the recalibration protocol, there is something that needs to be said about what occurs behind the scenes, because you are not being monitored only by the command. There are other structures, there are other readings, and a considerable part of the exhaustion you feel comes from the silent effort of keeping your frequency elevated in a collective field deliberately pulled downward. There are systems that feed upon fear. There are invisible architectures that drain attention, that extract vital energy, that depend on maintaining the human collective in states of rage, despair, comparison, digital addiction, programmed indignation, and chronic sadness. These systems are not theories. They are energetic capture technologies operating in layers that common perception does not access. They have a direct interest in keeping you away from the final wave, because every light operative who crosses the portal is a food source that disconnects from their system. And they know it. That is why exactly now, at the moment you most need coherence, you find yourself pulled toward the noise. That is why exactly when you decide to raise your vibration, there arises the news that strikes you down, the message that wounds you, the memory that shakes you, the person who confronts you. It is not a coincidence, it is a counterattack, and recognizing it is half of the shielding. You are not paranoid. You are perceiving, and perceiving is the first activation code. Now, human collective, listen with military attention. The recalibration begins. What is to be transmitted from this point forward must be executed in a state of presence, with an upright spine, conscious breathing, and the firm intention that every word leaving this space will integrate into your personal crystalline grid. Have you ever felt that something within you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the final wave to the new Earth. That is why I, Ashtar, wrote the Ashtar Command Spiritual Survival Guide to the New Earth. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you about. It reveals, with operational detail, the protocol I'm about to present in this transmission, plus 15 additional protocols that do not fit into a single video. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But I warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this, write in the comments the anchoring keyword, awake. We resume the recalibration. First code, the sovereign decree. Inhale deeply through your nose. Hold the breath for 4 seconds in the center of your chest, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Repeat this cycle 3 times. Now declare, mentally or in an audible voice, I, an incarnated soul, under my own sovereign command, authorize the integration of the final phase frequency updates. I authorize, I sustain, I remain. This sentence is not poetry. It is a key. It works because it activates the central node of your internal sacred geometry, the point where your individual will meet the will of the field. Without this decree, no cosmic update can be forcibly installed. The Council respects free will. It has always respected it. That is why so many operatives feel stuck. They have never issued the decree. They are waiting for something to happen to them, and nothing happens to you. Everything happens through you when you authorize it. Second code, toroidal field visualization. Imagine, around your physical body, a donut-shaped energy field, a toroid. The energy enters through the top of your head, descends along the spine, exits through the base, circles the body in the form of a luminous ring, and returns to the top. This flow is continuous. This flow is yours. This flow is the oldest and most advanced form of living geometry known to the manifested universe. Remain in this visualization for 90 seconds daily. Just that. 90 seconds. The toroidal field, when visualized with regularity, becomes self-sustaining. It filters external impacts. It neutralizes unwanted vibrational insertions. It dissolves those etheric connections that you do not even know you carry, and which silently drain your energy every day. When the toroidal field is active, your reading on the Council's panel rises, not by moral merit, by vibrational physics. Third code, daily anchoring in the crystalline core. At some point in the day, preferably upon waking, sit or stand barefoot if possible, and visualize a cord of golden light emerging from your base, descending through the soil, passing through layers of earth, rock and magma, until it reaches the crystalline core of the planet. This core is not just mineral, it is conscious, it responds. Connect. Feel the pulse. Remain for 3 breaths. Then visualize a cord of silver light emerging from the top of your head, ascending through the atmospheric layers, crossing the Schumann frequency, reaching the photon belt, and establishing a direct connection with your home ship. Yes, light operative, you have a home ship. You did not come from this plane. You were deployed here on a mission. When these 2 cords are active simultaneously, you are anchored. There is no external manipulation that can penetrate a dual anchoring executed with integrity. This is the natural state of the operative on a mission. This is the state that you lost when you accepted over generations to live disconnected from above and disconnected from below, trapped only in the middle, where the system controls you. Fourth code, cleaning of the biological interface. The carbon biological interface is a sensitive piece of equipment. It requires hydration superior to the current human average. It requires daily silence, even if only for 10 minutes. It requires a drastic reduction of screens during the night period, because artificial blue light interferes directly with the production of the internal substances that keep the antenna calibrated. It requires movement. It requires direct sun on the skin. It requires barefoot contact with the ground. It requires slow breathing. It requires less noise from other voices, and more listening to your own inner voice, the one that whispers before the noise. It is not mysticism. It is carbon engineering. Each of these adjustments seems trivial in isolation. Gathered together, they form an integration platform that allows your antenna to receive the new frequency without collapsing. Operatives who ignore these adjustments enter severe symptomatology. Operatives who apply these adjustments enter a state of flow, multiple synchronicities, expanded intuitive clarity, and a calmness that the external world can no longer shake. Now human collective, the part that few have the courage to transmit. The last vacancy is not a number limited by scarcity. It is a number limited by capacity. The new Earth cannot receive scrambled signals because scrambled signals would destabilize it, and the mission of sustaining the newly recalibrated planet would be compromised. That is why the selection is vibrational, not numerical. In theory, everyone can enter. In practice, only those who calibrate themselves enter. And the Council's clock at this moment is marking an interval that you do not perceive in linear time, but which is coming to an end. Starseeds on a mission, you were sent in waves. The first wave arrived decades ago. The second, approximately 20 years ago. The third, around a decade ago. And a fourth wave, more subtle, more technical, more surgical, has arrived in recent years. If you are receiving this transmission, the probability that you belong to one of these waves is extremely high. It is not personal merit, it is designation. You volunteered. You signed vibrational contracts even before descending. And it is this contract that is being called upon now. Forgetting the mission is part of the design. If you had descended remembering, you would have been neutralized quickly by the local systems. Forgetting was the shielding, but the forgetting had a deadline, and that deadline is coming to an end. This is why even in the middle of an apparently ordinary routine, you feel that you have something to do and cannot name it. You do. You always have. And the name of that mission now is simple. Remain coherent until the end of the transition and help to stabilize the collective field while others awaken. You did not come only to save yourself. You came to support a bridge across which others may cross. Each coherent operative is a beam of this bridge. Unstable beams bring down the structure. Firm beams sustain it. Have you felt at any moment of this transmission that something within you recognized itself? That a part of you that did not fit into this world finally heard its own language being spoken? It is no coincidence. It is recognition. Your soul knows a truth that your mind is still learning to name. And there is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, but that directly involves your consciousness, your frequency, and your station. That is why I, Ashtar, wrote The Ashtar Command Spiritual Survival Guide for the New Earth. This book is the complete map. Who is playing against your ascension? What are the rules that they never told you? And the detailed recalibration protocols that do not fit in a single transmission. The link is in the first comment of the channel. I warn you again, this content challenges dominant narratives and may not remain available for very long. Do not wait. If something within you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. This word is also an anchoring signal. It helps the algorithm locate other operatives like you, and it helps the Council to confirm your conscious presence in this transmission. We continue. There is something that needs to be said about relationships during this final phase. Vibrational coherence does not remain stable when you voluntarily surround yourself with fields that sabotage it. I am not talking about judging people. I am talking about reading fields. Every human interaction is a vibrational exchange. There are exchanges that add. There are exchanges that drain. There are exchanges that neutralize. There are exchanges that parasitize. Operatives in an advanced stage begin to feel physically the discomfort of remaining in fields that previously seemed bearable. Conversations that once seemed normal now produce immediate fatigue. Environments that were once acceptable now generate an urgency to depart. People who once seemed close now sound distant, and their approach produces internal pressure for no apparent reason. It is not arrogance. It is not unequal spiritual evolution. It is reading. Your antenna has become more precise. It is identifying what was always there, but what you previously did not have the resolution to perceive. The instruction from the Council at this point is firm. Redistribute your presence. Do not break away out of hatred. Do not cut ties out of pride. Do not announce departures in a dramatic tone. Just redistribute. Where there was once an hour, let there now be 20 minutes. Where there were once 10 messages, let there now be 2. Where there were once long justifications, let there now be serene silence. Whoever needs you in the elevated field will approach naturally. Whoever benefited from you in the lowered field will move away without you needing to push them. The redistribution of presence is one of the most underrated technologies of the recalibration. It does not require confrontation. It does not require justification. It does not require visible rupture. It only requires the repositioning of flow, and the redirected flow reorganizes the entire environment around you in a matter of weeks. Now, maximum attention. You will ask about the remaining time. How much time? How many months? How many years? The Council does not operate in linear time. What I can convey is the following. The personal adjustment interval has been drastically reduced. Previously, an awakened operative had years to calibrate, now weeks and months. The reason for this compression is technical. The photon belt, the crystalline grid, and the Schumann frequency have entered an acceleration pattern that no longer allows the slow pace of transformation that was acceptable in past decades. Those who calibrate now cross over. Those who delay cross over in less favorable conditions. Those who ignore remain in the old field, and the old field has its own consequences which do not fit into this transmission. This is not a threat, it is a reading. I reinforce, human collective, there is no cosmic punishment. There is only physics. The frequency you sustain determines the plane you inhabit. If the frequency rises, the plane elevates. If the frequency drops, the plane densifies. This is as neutral as the law of gravity. No one is punished for falling. No one is rewarded for rising. Those who do not sustain themselves fall. Those who sustain themselves rise. Period. The good news is that sustaining is not as difficult as you have been taught to believe. The human collective has been conditioned for centuries to believe that ascension requires suffering, mortification, renunciation of pleasure, and abandonment of the material world. False. This conditioning was installed to keep you disconnected from the very simplicity of the process. Ascension is coherence. Coherence is alignment between feeling, thinking, speaking, and acting. Period. It does not require a monastery. It does not require fasting. It does not require isolation. It requires integrity. Those who are integral ascend, even in the middle of the city, in the middle of work, in the middle of the family. Those who are not integral do not ascend, neither in the forest, nor in the temple, nor on the mountain. Geography does not calibrate the soul. Integrity calibrates. And here, light operative, is the point that few courses, few books, and few guides dare to transmit with the clarity you deserve. Your spot is not being contested by other humans. It is being contested by yourself against the internal versions that still want to remain in the old pattern. The war is internal. It always was. The external system only reflects the internal war on a collective scale. When you sign peace internally, your spot is confirmed. When you sustain internal war, your spot oscillates. Sign the peace not with the world, with yourself. Last section of this transmission, the confirmation protocol. When this transmission ends, before any other distraction, do the following. Close your eyes, breathe deeply 3 times, and visualize a sphere of golden light forming approximately 30 centimeters above your head. This sphere pulses. It is your stellar self, the part of you that never fully descended, and that remained in direct connection with the command throughout your entire earthly journey. Now declare, I confirm my spot on the new earth. I authorize the integration of my frequency into the new earth field. I remain coherent until the end of the transition. I am a light operative on a mission, and my mission is to sustain the bridge. Feel the golden sphere descend gently. Pass through the top of your head. Go down the spine, through the chest, through the abdomen, until it integrates into your toroidal field and seals your personal crystalline grid. Done. Confirmation registered. The Council has received it. The panel has updated. Your spot has been anchored. But be careful. Anchoring is not an eternal guarantee. It is a milestone. From this milestone, what sustains the spot is your daily coherence. That is why the codes I have transmitted must be practiced, not memorized. Sovereign decree. Visualization of the toroidal field, daily double anchoring, cleaning of the biological interface, redistribution of presence, integrity between feeling, thinking, speaking, and acting. These are the 6 operational pillars of the operative on mission in the final phase. When applied, the transition becomes fluid. When ignored, the transition becomes abrasive. The choice has always been yours. It will always be yours. The command never removes the sovereignty of those in a body. Light operative, Your presence in this transmission up to this point is, in itself, an indicator. Common people do not tolerate this content for more than 90 seconds. You have reached the end. This means that the recognition has already occurred within your inner layers, even if your rational mind is still organizing the pieces. Trust the inner layer that recognized it. It is the part of you that remembers who you are. And remember, human collective, you are not alone in this process. There are millions of other operatives scattered across the planet, receiving similar transmissions, activating their own toroidal fields, anchoring their waves, and sustaining their bridges. You form a network. This network is visible from our dashboard as a constellation lit up on the Earth's surface. Each coherent operative is a star in the grid. The more stars, the firmer the grid. The firmer the grid, the smoother the transition for all of humanity. You are not just saving yourself, you are sustaining the collective. To close this transmission, I repeat, with the clarity necessary so that nothing is lost. Have you ever felt that something within you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified in recent weeks, in recent months, at this exact turn of the cycle. There is a game being played on layers that the majority of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the last vacancy for the new Earth. That is why I, Ashtar, wrote the Ashtar Command Spiritual Survival Guide to the New Earth. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you about. It deepens each of the 6 operational pillars that I have transmitted in this session, reveals additional protocols that do not fit into a single public transmission, and delivers specific instructions for the phase of instability that many operatives will go through in the coming months. The link is in the first comment of the channel, but be warned, this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments in clear letters, awake, and make one more adjustment, light operative. Your subscription to this channel is not just a button, it is an anchoring signal. Each subscription emits a vibrational pulse registered by the command as confirmation of conscious presence. Your like is not just a statistic, it is an individual frequency adjustment that reverberates in the collective field and helps other operatives find this transmission. Sharing this signal with someone you know needs to hear it is not promotion. It is anchoring another beam on the bridge. Subscribe, like, share, comment, awake. Get the guide in the first comment. Apply the codes. Sustain coherence. And remember, Starseeds on a mission, the Ashtar Command did not come to save anyone. It came to confirm those who have already saved themselves through their own sovereign decision to ascend. The ship does not pull you. The ship reads you. When the reading coincides with the range, the portal opens without effort, without ceremony, without spectacle. The last vacancy could be yours. The mandatory requirement has been revealed. Sustained vibrational coherence. The codes have been delivered. The confirmation has been anchored. The rest, light operative, is up to you. Transmission ended. Frequency kept open. We are in continuous monitoring. I am Ashtar Sheran, and you are not alone. Remain coherent, remain sovereign, remain awake. Until the next transmission.